Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this latest episode of Fresh Review Friday. So sit back, relax, grab your cigar, maybe a drink, and enjoy.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another Fresh Review Friday. It is week 5 of Cuevas Month. We're now in November, so I'm kind of going into from one month to another, but the month itself is just a time frame. So we're still in Cuevas Month as far as I'm concerned, and obviously week 5, which means I'm on to the 5th cigar of the Cuevas line, and this is actually the very first cigar I ever tried from Casa Cuevas, and this week I'm going to be diving into the Casa Cuevas Core Line Habano. So without any further ado, cue music. What's up, guys? You are watching Dad Smoking Cigars, sponsored by Casa Cuevas Cigars, from our casa to yours. Thank you for joining me for another video, and I hope you guys have been enjoying Cuevas Month. If you have been, and if maybe you've never heard of Casa Cuevas, never smoked them, though odds are if you follow Dad Smoking Cigars, if you watch any of the videos, you will know about Casa Cuevas in some way, shape, or form. But if you're just getting into Dad Smoking Cigars, if you're following the Instagram, YouTube, and all of that good stuff, please let me know in the comments below. Maybe you've tried Casa Cuevas, what's your favorite Casa Cuevas, all of that good stuff. It has been a blast this month to dive into all of the cigars offered by Casa Cuevas, and it's been fun getting back into some that I hadn't smoked in a while, like the Reserva Natural and the Core Line Maduro, which was last week's video. It's been a blast, and it's kind of like a trip down memory lane, thinking back to when I first tried Casa Cuevas. And as I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to be diving into the very first Casa Cuevas cigar that I ever smoked, and that is the Core Line Habano. I'm pretty sure this one is a Robusto. I'm pretty sure the first one I ever smoked was a Toro Vitola. So it was a nice, long, leisurely smoke. I like the Robustos because it just gives you a long enough smoke, but it's not too long. So it's I'm definitely looking forward to getting into the Habano, so I'm not going to jibber jabber any more than I already have, and I'm going to go ahead, cut light, and get into it and enjoy. So here we go. Cold draw's a little tight, but then again, yeah, I didn't really give it a good cut with this one. I think I need to give it a better one. There we go. There we go. It might have been a little bit too much on the count. Of course, a little bit of filler happens almost every time, even to the most seasoned cigar smoker. Getting a lot of that dried fruit, like raisins and dates and all of that good stuff, kind of the typical flavor profiles. Almost like a honey sweetness to it, which I can remember a little bit from when I first smoked it and the other times I have had the Habano. The Habano is probably my favorite of the Core Line, at least. In terms of overall, the Habano and the Reserva Maduro are probably my favorite cigars, but then again, I may change my mind in the weeks to come as I smoke these again, as I smoke different Cuevas cigars again, so it's subject to change. Don't quote me on these things. So say hello to the dogs, everybody. Yes, I remember that very well. And there they are again. Just like I remember those woody, very cedar-like notes. A little bit of that grassy hay sweetness. A little bit of that honey sweetness is kind of staying there, clinging on just a little bit. Very tasty, very smooth smoke. The Habano is, I would say, what you call medium strength. Not a very strong cigar. Just right there in the middle, which is pretty much where I like it most of the time. I occasionally like something very mild. Other times I do like a cigar that, well, essentially will kick my ass. But this is definitely a nice, well-balanced cigar in terms of flavor and strength. Not too strong, not too mild. So, and I love those flavors right off the bat that I just described. So good. So I'm going to smoke this down, and I'll let you know my thoughts after the first third, which should be happening pretty quickly since this is not a very big vitola. Like I said, I like the Robusto because it gives you just the right amount of time to smoke your cigar. So anyways, we'll be right back with you guys with my first thoughts on the first third right after this. See you then. Alright guys, wrapping up the, very quick first third of the Casa Cuevas Habano, Core Line Habano, the Robusto Vitola. It's going down pretty fast, as I expected, because it's a smaller Vitola, but once again, does not disappoint. Takes me back to when I first tried it, and all the other times I've had it since then. Still a very nice, very rich, robust smoke. Again, not too strong, medium profile, medium bodied flavor, and still very woody cedar notes, that kind of grassy hay flavor, slight hint of breadiness, a little bit of spice, very, very subtle spice, like a baking spice, not peppery at all. And yeah, absolutely delicious. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that first third. Just because I have had the pleasure of experiencing this cigar many times, and as such, it just continues to deliver each time. So I realize once again, and this is a bad habit, that I have forgotten to give the makeup of the cigar. So I'm going to smoke down the second third. I will give you guys the information and the makeup of the cigar, and that way I can kind of give you a more in-depth information on how the blends provide the flavor profile that you get out of this smoke. So very brief little segment on how good it is so far. I expect to smoke this down pretty quick, so I shouldn't be long before I get back with you guys. So until then, I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright guys, smoked down the second third of the Casa Cuevas Core Line Habano, and just delicious, rich flavor. Great smoke output. The burn I've kind of messed with a little bit. I think more in the beginning I did a little bit more correction with the burn because I am just weird OCD with that. But ever since then it's been burning pretty straight. The flavors transition a little bit, less of kind of the sweet grassy hay notes, still more of that kind of woody cedar with a little bit more of that spice, a little bit of those bready notes, especially on the retrohale, opens it up nice. The retrohale, I don't get too much like pepper or too much of that kind of potency when sometimes I'm smoking it down, especially when it's a little bit of a stronger cigar, a little bit more medium to full. That retrohale can get pretty strong, and it is sometimes all I can do to not just go thankfully that hasn't happened with this one, but I did promise you the information on the Habano in terms of the makeup, and the wrapper for the Habano is a Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, and it's got a Nicaraguan binder with Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers, bringing a nice blend of flavors for this cigar. And I think it still continues to be my favorite, if not like my top two Casa Cuevas cigars. Like I mentioned before, I think it's this and the Reserva Maduro are my two favorite Casa Cuevas cigars. Right there, probably number 3 is the La Mandaria, and as far as the other 3, can't quite say exactly where they rank beyond that, but those are my top three Casa Cuevas cigars that I enjoy the most, that I smoke the most, and I really love those smokes. But the Habano, first one I ever tried, and is still a favorite of mine, and I really enjoy the flavors.
Great, a very well blended cigar, and the construction's holding up nice. For a while, the draw was a little bit tight. I wasn't getting as much smoke as I wanted out of it. I don't know if this one was rolled a little bit tighter or not, or if it was the way I cut it. I have no idea, but it's opened up very nicely. I'm getting a lot more smoke. As you can see, smoke output's really important to me because I hate it when you've got a cigar that you're just blowing vapor out of it. So anyways, really enjoying it so far, as pretty much as always. But those are my thoughts on the second third, so I'm going to smoke this down to pretty much the nub, and I'll give you my final thoughts when I get there. So see you guys then. Alright guys, coming down to the final third, coming down to the end of the final third, and the flavors are still very rich, very full, very tasty. I'm getting more leather, more earthy flavors, a little bit more spice, almost peppery, which I don't quite recall ever getting that from the Habano. So it just goes to show you that even if you've smoked a certain cigar a number of times, that you might get something different, something new out of it. And the flavors, I know I use the words like rich and full and stuff like that. And I want to clarify that I have experienced that in a number of cigars, and it's actually something I really favor when I smoke a cigar. Because if you ever smoked a cigar maybe you've never had before, or somebody suggested to you, sometimes it doesn't quite hit on the nose or hit the nail on the head, however you want to put it. And it may start off with really great flavor, and then it kind of falls flat after a little bit. Maybe the flavors kind of dissipate. They're a little bit muted. They're not as they don't quite give you that much impact in terms of flavor. So but the Habano so far has stayed true to being just really rich and flavorful. It's transitioned from some of the more sweeter notes that I get from it, sometimes kind of that honey flavor, the toasted honey flavor with a little bit of that sweet grassy hay. Now it's more earthy, more leathery, more full, a little bit on the stronger side, but not too potent. And again, that spice and that peppery flavor. So I'm going to do a little retrohale just to see where that's at. We'll see how that goes. Whoa, whoa, yeah, pretty spicy on the retrohale. Oh yeah, that's never happened before. Oh wait, no, it happens a lot actually. But it still adds to the experience. It's still great, and I really enjoy that. It's fun to do that, as weird as that might sound. But it gives you a kick every single time, and this is definitely no different in terms of that experience. But still very tasty. It's getting a little bit hot around the cap when it burns a little bit on the lips. I don't quite recall that happening the last time I had the Habano, and but this time I'm getting a little bit more of that. I'm going to try and smoke it down as far as I can. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. I always like to smoke the cigars I enjoy most down to the nub, because why wouldn't you? I feel like it can be a waste if you don't do that, because you want to try and consume the cigar to the very last possible draw, the last possible puff. And I love this cigar, so I want to try and smoke it down as far as possible. But yeah, construction is great. It hasn't gotten too soft, no squishy feeling. It has a little bit of give. It's starting to get a little bit warmer on the burn line, because Luis Cuevas told me this, that the earmark of a good cigar in construction and blend and everything like that is when you put your fingers up near the burn line and it doesn't really give you too much of a burn. But I think because it's coming down towards the end, it's getting a little bit hotter. It's something I probably should have done a little earlier. But still excellent cigar. Love it, enjoy it, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this more in-depth review of this cigar. Week 5 of Cuevas Month. It has been a blast. I'm looking forward to smoking the final cigar, which is going to be the Connecticut. I'm going to be sad when this is all done, but there's so many cigars to smoke, so much to enjoy, and I look forward to sharing my experience with you guys. And I want to know more about your guys' experience as well, and what you guys smoke, what you enjoy. Please comment as much as you like down below. I love to interact with you guys, so please share your thoughts, whether it's about Casa Cuevas or other comparable brands or brands that you like. I love engaging and having that conversation, so please let me know. But my final thoughts on the Casa Cuevas Habano, again, it's the first Casa Cuevas I ever tried. It's always a great experience. now is this experience is the same thing, and I feel like I get a little something different almost every time. Right now is definitely the case in that regard, and but the flavor's still great, construction's still great. It's still an excellent cigar, and I will continue to smoke these as long as I live. So, but as far as my rating on this cigar, definitely right up there with the other Casa Cuevas cigars. I want to give this one a solid 90. Very good. I enjoy it. Again, one of my top favorite Casa Cuevas cigars. So anyways, those are my final thoughts on the Casa Cuevas Core Line Habano. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys had fun. Final Casa Cuevas review is going to be next week. So I hope you guys will join me for that. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. It went out on me. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one.